Good morning. My name is John Glover. I'm the Ops Section Chief for the Alaska Incident Management Black Team, and I'll be giving you an update for June 25th and the day's operations. We'll start here at Fire 206. They had a good day yesterday, completed all of their kind of cleanup missions around the area, and then started in briefing some potential overhead that may come in and take on the task of initiating any of this structure protection if the fire decides to move. So a good exchange of information. Folks were briefed up in understanding the plan of action along Sleep Mute, Red Devil, and Crooked Creek and the areas in between. Okay, continuing on, we'll move to the Lime Group and North Structure Protection Group. So here on the North Structure Protection Group, we had folks inserted into Fire 198, 197. They've merged together, but they were working and completed the Stony River Lodge yesterday. Today, they'll be working up towards the northwest corner. There's a comm tower up there that they'll be taking action on and trying to prevent any fire impact on there. As you can see, we've had some heat signatures start to show up on the northwest corner and also on the southeastern flank of Fire 197. It's kind of an indicator of the rest of the fire and a little bit of activity that's been picking up, kind of working our way west to east. We've had a more significant active day yesterday. We anticipate the same today as we move into some red flag conditions. Over here on 190 and 228, we inserted repellers up by the lake over here, and they were doing protection around a known cabin improvement out there. Fair amount of activity on the north and east corner, and it's pushing towards that area. So they were able to complete that operation last night, and they'll be checking on it again today. Moving down into the fires that are just south of Lime Village, 244 and 273. You can see some heat signatures right along the western side, and then on 273 on the north, west, and east side. Started picking up some heat in there yesterday. We anticipate some growth in that area as well today. Because of some of the increased activity, like we have talked about, the structure protection that's taken place along the cabins on both Tundra Lake and Trout Lake. Our folks have gone in there, completed structure preparation and protection, and they initiated a firing operation on the western side to prevent that fire impact on those values at risk. That will continue on today as we work our way closer to Trout Lake and taking care of areas that we believe will be impacted in the near-term future. For Lime Village itself, we can zoom in there. Lime Village, like we said, the line had been completed, the saw cut. We got our last loads of supplies in there to finish plumbing that with hose and nozzles and pumps, and that took place. Started yesterday and will be completed by end of shift today. They have also set up some structure protection supplies around the structure, so there's kind of two lines of defense in that area, and about an 80 or 90 foot wide saw line. So really good defensible space around Lime Village itself. Okay, on the south end of our complex here, Fire 240 and 239, fair amount of activity on all sides last night and yesterday. Again, we anticipate the same with the red flag conditions that we're expecting today. Everything was fairly favorable wind-wise yesterday, and we didn't have control issues on the western side of the fire. We have folks in place on the Mulchatna River and the Coktuli River, and we'll be inserting some additional folks that have been working on Fire 205 into that area as well. Their mission is to continue patrolling the river corridor, and also with the increase in activity, we'll be getting in a Park Service module that will be on boats as well. So an additional 6 people that will be in there on top of the UNIWEAP 10. So we're strengthening the resources that we have on that western side of the fire, and it is because we expect some increased activity. On 205 over here, yesterday they continued to monitor the progression of the fire and ensure that the values at risk in that area were well protected. They're feeling comfortable with that, and the folks that were working over here are going to be inserting over to the 240 fire. Okay, so today, like I said, we're expecting a red flag warning for increased temperatures, decreased relative humidities, and an increase in wind. We're expecting southeast winds and possibly gusting to about 20 miles an hour. It's going to push the fire to the northwest, and that's why we've established some priorities up with 198 and the comm tower that could be affected, and we're also looking at forward progression and flanking progression off of 244 and 273. Really, one of the biggest challenges is down here on 240 and 205 and how it's going to push across that line. With that being said, in anticipation of this, we had ordered some fixed wing water scoopers aircraft, and I told you guys about that yesterday. They're on scene today, and as long as we have good air and good conditions for flying, our intent is to have them working the western edge of Fire 239 and 240. The intent will be to keep that area cool and be able to rapidly engage on anything if it were to cross the Mulchatna River and impact those values at risk there. We've run some models on this, and we have a pretty good understanding of a growth potential, and we're doing the best we can to stay ahead of that anticipation. But it's worth noting that over the next couple of days, we will reach indices and basically how we gauge spread and fire growth potential. It will hit records that we've never seen before. So we're starting to get into unknown territories that models don't predict too well, and dry conditions that Southwest has really never seen before. So we're posturing with as much aerial resources as we can to limit spread, and we're trying to stay ahead of any advancing flank as best as possible in anticipation of this high pressure system and the challenges that come with it staying with us for a few days. So we'll keep you updated. We appreciate your patience and understanding, and all of your support from the community to the firefighters. Thank you.